Oh.
Okay, I want to tell you about the monument we put up in France on somewhere there after the beachhead. We put it up about 3 years ago. It said the 81st Chemical Mortar Battalion was here. That's about all it said. And nothing was there about us ever being there, see. So the guys went over there and they looked and seen that there wasn't nothing there that said the 81st Chemical Mortar Battalion. So we chipped together and got a big monument and put it up in this, I think it's around the churchyard or something, I don't remember. But it says the 81st Chemical Mortar Battalion was here.
You were telling me, David, yesterday about Omaha Beach Day.
Well,
That's what I was...
I want to tell you that I wouldn't take nothing from my experience, but I don't want no other part of it. The first time they had to draft me, now they got to burn the woods and sift the ashes to get me.
It's not something you'd like to do over again, though.
No, not really.
I talked to a guy in Tallahassee that was on Omaha Beach, and he described, and it happened that I went to see him on June the 6th.
Yeah.
And he said, you know, however many years ago it was at the time, I was just trying hard to stay alive.
June the 6th, 1944. That's what they call D-Day. D-Day. I don't know what the name of D-Day. The day, I guess.
Like the D place?
I guess so. Like Dee's restaurant up here, the place.
Oh, that's the place.
Like I say, I wouldn't, huh?
That was the place, right?
Oh, okay, John.
Yeah. We're passing today.
You said you had, the LST you were on came in, unloaded some tanks, and then went back out the channel. And then
Stayed
later
out
on,
there at about, maybe 11 or 12 o'clock, I don't remember that. But they unloaded these tanks and they let some of them out. Some of them let the tanks out the English Channel. First wave come along, they were gone. Men, equipment, and tank and all that. These were the secret weapons, see. And so this guy that was running our ship, he wouldn't let them out there. And his commanding officer said, "You will let them out there." And he said, "I will not let them out." So you mean you're disobeying a command? He says, "Yes, sir." He said, "It's just like just slaughtering them, you know." They come right up on the beach, and it was just like going up the Daytona Beach or somewhere like that right now. Except there was some barbed wire there, you know, when we first come up on there. These tanks went off, and we had waterproofed our Jeep. Now, waterproof had two stacks. One stack for the intake and one stack for the exhaust. And them things, I had to stand up, if you can imagine it, had to stand up on the seat like this here and steer the Jeep. Now, it's that deep in water when it got off the boat. But the tanks they had skirts on them, it didn't bother them, because they was in shallow enough water that whenever they got off, the water didn't come over the skirt.
It's not that difficult.
But when we got off then, they didn't carry us quite as close as they did the tanks, because they were afraid of mines, you know. I started to say land mines, but it wasn't land mines. It was, I guess, sea mines or whatever.
yeah.
But we were lucky. Whenever we first come up on there, we was up on the coning tower, up there looking around, you know. We see this stuff in the water, it looked like rain, you know. Pretty soon it started pecking on the side of the boat. We realized what it was then. Machine gun fire was firing at us. So naturally we got down then. But then when we got off, we let the tanks off. So we went back out the English Channel. It must have been between 11 and 1 o'clock when we come back in. And that beach was littered with all kinds of equipment and men and everything else. It had just bulldozing a path through there where we could get through with our Jeep. And we'd see a vehicle up ahead of us, maybe a weapons carrier or something like that. You see a big cloud of black smoke. You didn't see nothing. No men, no equipment, no jeep, no weapons carrying nothing. They're just gone. Gone up and stayed there on. Well, you might say on the beachhead for maybe a day and a half. And they like to push us off. The Germans like to push us away. And we seen some troops coming this way. There's infantry. The officer said, "Where y'all going?" I said, "We're retreating, man." He said, "Where you gonna retreat to? Ain't nothing back there but the English Channel." So we're leaving here. He said, "Go back up in there and fight." He says, "There ain't no place to retreat. Ain't no place to go. You go down on the beach and they'll kill you for sure then." That's what they want them to do, retreat to the beachhead, and then they can pick them off. So they went back up there, and we finally established the beachhead, but I thought for a while we wasn't. I can remember in the foxhole, this old Jerry plane come over after dark. Boom, 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 boom. It would kind of make a fuss like they wasn't getting enough gas or something, you know. Kind of, what do they call that? Well, there's a name for it. Anyway, they would boom, 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 and I could see the plane, and I started to shoot at him, you know, with my little carbine. The man, don't shoot at that thing. Says that'd give our position away. Well, I didn't shoot at it, but I believe I could have brought the plane down if they'd let me shoot at it. But I said no. As bad as me and Randall Dyke one time was out here fishing. Run the trot line on Red Bug Lake. Now there is such a thing as Red Bug Lake. And we was trot line out there, and I see this alligator up ahead of me. I kept seeing him, got right up to the boat, right beside the boat. I started hitting him with a paddle. He was in a little 8-foot frog boat. Randall Dyke said, "No, Foote, no, don't hit that alligator." I was fixing to let him have it. He was probably fixing to let us have it too. He'd turn that boat over. He was a big old alligator. I'll never forget that.
Risk wasn't worth it.
No.
Was the infantry still pinned down on the beach when you came ashore?
No, the infantry had done gone up there, and they had all kind of stuff on that beachhead. They had tanks, they had bulldozers. And the guys would get behind the blade of the bulldozer to keep the shell from, machine gunning them. But they was, the lights went off for just a little bit. You got that thing in electricity?
No, that's got its own little battery.
I don't know why the electricity goes just for an instant, see. Now this thing here goes crazy. Now the clocks have to set all the clocks in there because they're blinking. You might set them down and about 5 minutes later it goes off again. Now it's resetting itself, see. It's ready now to take a message. I kind of think sometimes somebody called me while that thing is shut off. And I missed the call because the other day I come in and it says 2 on there. Didn't have one message on there. I don't know what happened. They have no idea.
Somebody may have called and not left a message.
Well, they could have. They do that every once in a while too. So we get a lot of calls for Ronnie and Becky. Is Ronnie and Becky down there? I said, no, they're not. And Mom finally asked them, says, Ronnie and Becky who? Thompson or something like that. We got a Ronnie and a Becky. Ronnie Kirkland and Becky. And married Becky. We thought, Ronnie's in jail. We knew it wasn't that Ronnie. It could have been Becky, but. Yesterday a guy called me and says, Doug? I said, no, you got the wrong number. Is this 349-2025? I said, yeah, it is. I said, you probably want 2520. Yeah, he said, that's the number I want. So I said, well, that's somebody checking up on it to be sure we're home, where they won't break in. That's what I think. I think a lot of it's that. Just call them up, see if they're home. If they're not home, that's a good place to go. Break in there. This board had a meeting last night at 6 o'clock. We didn't go to it. About this breaking into homes, and I guess they're gonna get a neighborhood watch or something up. I don't know. I thought maybe I might call this woman over here after a while. Find out what they're doing about
Turn
it.
off one of them. Turn off.
I hadn't realized. I mean, I'd heard you talk about being in the Battle of the Bulge, but I didn't realize that you were part of the Normandy invasion.
I had 5 stars on my little pin, and it's presidential citation. We got the presidential citation. We had 5 battle stars. One of them Omaha, the other one was something else, and Battle of the Bulge is another. Was Battle of the Bulge. Went on up, went through France, and then we got between France and Germany, the Siegfried line. You've heard of that.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of pillboxes and things, but they wasn't manned. They never did man them. They didn't have the manpower or something, or else they figured they was obsolete or something. But these big pillboxes, they would be maybe 200 or 300 feet apart. Big concrete pillboxes. I say pillboxes. I don't know. You know what a
Yeah, I know
pillbox
what a pillbox is.
Okay, they had machine guns, or could have had machine guns in there. They didn't have no machine guns, didn't have no men, no nothing. In that Siegfried line. And then after we got past that, then we got on down to Metz, M-E-T-Z. Metz was the Battle of the Bulge. I remember we set up there and was there for I don't know how long. But anyway, we had, our job was just put around the ammunition in there every once in a while. Harassment fire, they call it. Shoot on had a gun set up on a crossroads or something, see? You shoot down the fire every once in a while around on the crossroads. Well, they wouldn't try to use the road. That's crazy. But I never seen nobody, never actually shot anybody. I'm satisfied that I was the cause of several people dying, but I never did see them die. Because I was with the mortar crew now. The ammunition crew was another Jeep. It had the ammunition in it, see. We had several rounds of ammunition in our Jeep, and we had the mortar in our Jeep. And my job was to just drive the Jeep. And when you're in the Army, you do as you're told. You don't ask a lot of questions. When they say drive the Jeep and follow the one in front of you, you do that. You don't know where you're going, nothing about it. Several times we found out we was the front line. we was the front line in enemy territory. It's one we hadn't got killed. That was the most. Well, it was. I guess it was planned, but it looked to me like at that time that it was just a jumble of mess of stuff, you know. If we hadn't had plenty of power and plenty of extra stuff, we would have never won that war. I don't think we would have. Maybe we would have.
Now your mortar battalion was an independent unit. It had to be attached.
Yeah, it had to be attached. We had to stay attached all the time to get food, to get ammunition, to get anything we needed. We had to get attached to the 3rd Army, 1st Army, Armored Division, something like that. We had to get attached. See, the 81st came on mortar battalion. They was, let's see, there was 8 mortars, I guess it was, and 8 ammunition jeeps, and there was 8 squads, what they call a squad. Well, there were 16 squads because each jeep had a squad in it. So there were 16 of the squad. And the squad consisted of, let's see, 10 men each squad. And then there was 8 squads, so that'd be 8 times 10 would be 80. Had headquarters and had our cooking and, you know, the mortar pool and all this, that and other. Went along with us all the time. We got in this town, little old town in Germany somewhere, I guess. They started shelling us, and I got out of my Jeep and went down in the cellar. And they was shelling around there. And on the back of my Jeep had a 5-gallon can of gas. And they shot and hit the, now you know how big a trailer tongue is, about as big around steel. It blew that trailer away from the Jeep and broke that tongue. And it set that gas can on fire. My Jeep was burning. They said, "Foote, you gonna go put it out?" Not me. I said, "Let somebody else go put it out if they want to put it out. I'm not coming out of there." So there's several of them went out there and they put the fire out and they got a distinguished medal or something. Well, to heck if they'd have got killed, they'd have got killed, that's all. I'd rather be a live hero, live coward than a dead hero any day. And then another time I parked my Jeep in a garage. I backed it up in a garage in a house in the town, and it shelled, and the shell fell in front of my Jeep. Didn't have no garage door to it, see, and it knocked holes in my radiator and flattened some tires and first thing too. That was the second Jeep. That was the second Jeep. So I got the third Jeep before I got through with it. I liked my first one because that was the one that I had waterproofed and I had went on maneuvers in England and everything else with, see. But it got burnt up that time that they fired these rounds of, I don't know what it was, high explosive or something, I guess, and broke that trailer away from the Jeep and left the tongue hanging there. Just, it's the one, and had ammunition in the front of the trailer. It's the one that hadn't set that ammunition off, you know. So I was lucky. I was just lucky. I used to smoke, and I was down in the foxhole in France somewhere. Something told me while they were shelling, said, "If you don't quit smoking, you're going to get killed." And I quit smoking right then. See, I got all my fingers and toes, legs and arms and everything, and never got a scratch on it. I don't know whether that had anything to do with it or not, but I quit smoking right then. They didn't have to tell me twice. But that place there, we had an old cow. I had a cow. I milked that cow. That cow gave about 4 gallons of milk a day without any feed at all. She run in an orchard, apple orchard. We had a little bit of feed, some kind of feed. What do we have? I don't remember what kind of feed we had, bread or something like that. And I kept some of his milk, and I churned and made buttermilk and butter. And all the outfits around me there, we were kind of stationary there in France somewhere. And all them outfits around me would come to me and get milk and butter and buttermilk. I'd milk that old cow. I had a time.
You made them trade stuff to get it, didn't you?
Huh?
You made them trade you stuff to get it, didn't you?
Well, no, I just give it to them because the cow gives so much milk, I didn't think about that, or I would probably would have given it to them. But you got rations. You got so many cigarettes, so many boxes of candy, bars of candy, so many charms and chocolate things. We used to take these things to Paris and get on the black market. Sell a bar of candy went for around $2. A pack of cigarettes $5 and $8. They give us francs, and we'd turn the francs in for our money. We used to like to go to Paris. We had women too, you could give a couple of bars of chocolate and you could spend a night with them or something like that. It was fun. But like I say, I don't want to go through that no more. That's the end of that. I wouldn't take nothing from my experience, but I don't want to go through that. Did Grandma ever come in the house?
Yeah,
Hello there.
she came in. I don't know if she's still in or not.
She was feeding the cows, and well, Bill came this morning, hooked on the trailer and had a little problem. And these guys here come to get palm trees and their tractor stopped. Well, Bill knew how to start the tractor. Funny thing, the line gets stopped up going from the tank to the filter. And you can take that line off, not a drop of diesel comes out of it at all. You have to blow back through the line, blow it up in the tank. And then when it starts running, and hook it back up. And take a gasoline rag and put the gas on a rag and put it in the breather. And that tractor starts on just the fumes of the gas. That's where they get it started. And once you get started, it's all right. See, it used to be, I thought the only way to start a diesel tractor was take the little lines off that goes down to the, what's that thing? Injector. Take the lines off, run the battery and run the starter until all the air is out of it. See, they got different ways. They just put the rag on there, pour a little gas on there, and hold the hand up there and make it suck the gas, fume. Starts right up. And once it starts up, it just takes on that diesel fuel. Bobby learned of me that. He said he learned that from Mark Roberts. But anyway, we've been busy around here this morning. So Bill left and going out to Bissell. We got the pasture Bissell we did have one time. We're gonna mow around the fence line and try to fix the fence as good as we can. I think I put a new fence on the west fence. We put a 4-strand barbed wire fence. The people that tore the old fence down and put some chain link fence, there's about 6 or 8 or 10 houses from the gate to the northwest corner along 10th Street there. Run from 10th Street back to our property. And when they decide they want to put a new fence up, they just tear down the old fence and put up hog wire or chain link or whatever. And they throw the thing over the fence, just throw all the barbed wire and all that stuff over the fence. So I told Bill he had to be careful. I can see him getting the barbed wire wrapped around that mower. That's a mess to get that thing on. I was running. So he left. I told him I'd be out there after a while. And then about that time, Mom said, well, Laverne said, called and said she's coming. I said, well, let her come. I'll tell you who she's going to. Needed a machete out there because when it comes to the swamps, I got a little cypress bayhead, I call it, the little swamp. I don't know whether they got any water in them there or not. I asked Bill, I said, you got your boots with you? I tell him, I said, well, you wade as far as you can go with your boot. Don't wade over your boot top. You just fix the fence down as far and go around the swamp and fix it. I said, the cows ain't gonna go in there, He said, you think you can get that done today? I said, well, we can get it done as much as we can get done. Hey, John. What's wrong with the clock? What are you holding your ears for? It ain't gonna bang. What is it, Christian?
You still have your victory medal from World War II?
Somewhere there. I've lost. I had a lot of souvenirs of swastikas and all that kind. I even brought a flag on a swastika flag. Mom cut it up and made some out of it. And I had some swastikas, like they wear on their lapel. I had all that stuff and it's all in a box. And I can't find that box alive. I had all kind of German medals, at 100 million mark piece. And whenever during the looting, we'd loot, you know, that was our, what you call it, recreation, you might say, going to German house. And if women or men give us any trouble, Ralph, man, get out of here, you know. We'd go in there and loot, and I'd pick up a purse that had some money in it or something like that. But they said that any money made before, when Hitler took over, 1940 something, he says, they said it's good, you can turn in and get American money or whatever money. They had different money, they had money. They had it printed up, had French money, had German money, another kind of money. But anyway, any of this German money before a certain date was good. After that date, it wasn't no good. They said that Hitler said, well, you know, if he's run out of money, just make some more, you know. So I had 100 million mark piece, 100 million mark. Now a mark is worth, was worth, you mean like one mark was $1, $2, I think. 100 million mark, that'd be $200 million, I guess it was. If it was any good, but it wasn't any good. I turned in, I don't remember exactly what it was. I turned in all my good money, you know, made before this date, and I turned it in and got the money for it. I got around $2,000 and I sent it to Bob, my brother, and he was taking care of me.
I'm gonna take care of you too, Daddy.
Huh?
I'm gonna take care of you too.
You gotta put the
After all that talking, you might need it.
camcorder still on.
Is it
Giving
still
you some of the
here, I'll
tea.
it's unpaused.
Well, I wanted to ask if you could remember maybe any of the divisions that your group was attached to.
All I remember is 3rd Armored Division. Seemed like the 1st Army or 3rd Army, one of those days. I just do not remember. 1st Army or 3rd Army and the 3rd Armored Division were one of them. But anyway, Patton was the head knocker. We called him. Says gut, old blood and gut. Yeah, our blood and his gut.
Mm-hmm. I heard that one.
Yeah, that's probably it. I seen Patton once or twice.
Did he have his famous revolvers on him?
I don't know. I know he's pretty well guarded, I know that. He had his guards with him, you know. First Armored Division and 3rd Army, I think. I'm not sure. It might have been the other way around. It might have been the 3rd Armored Division, 1st Army.
No, I think you're right. I think Patton was 3rd Army,
I think.
if I remember right.
We was attached to the 3rd Army, I think. Of course, we had, like I say, we had to stay attached, you see, because we got all of our food from this outfit. The 3rd Army, it had all the food. We had to stay attached to there before we get food. Most of the time, we had the kitchen right along with us. Kitchen, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And the cook had a little Jeep, and he'd go back and get food. And he'd bring it up. Well, that hit its mark then, didn't it, John?
You're a character, John. Seemed like you told me once that you had, I think the way you put it, that Your unit had gotten bombed several times, sometimes by the Germans.
In England. In England we was bombed. I never will forget, one time we was in a stage, what they call a staging area. We were ready to hit the coast of France D-Day. We were taking maneuvers or training on the LCTs, you know. And the Germans come over there and bombed us, and the English had some Zeppelins, like a Zeppelin thing they put way up in the air, and had cables on, see? And this thing would cut the wing off of a plane if it hit it before it pulled it. What do they call them? They didn't call them Zeppelin, but they looked like a
Barrage
Zeppelin.
balloons.
Barrage balloons. They were whining, their sirens and everything. They was bombing us, and we didn't know it at the time. We was only about maybe 600 feet from a communications center. That's what they were bombing, for that communication center. And their bombs, luckily, was designed to go inside and then explode, see? They'd go down in the ground and explode and wouldn't hurt anything. So they had told us to be able to dig foxholes. And we were reluctant to dig foxholes, but after that, you seen the guys out there with shovels and picks and everything, digging the foxhole. Funny thing about it, the black people, you know, they're comical anyway. And then one of them says, they took the, they put on the gas mask and fell down the ditch of water, see? They thought they'd been gassed or something during the time they was bombing. And then one of them says after this, says, man, them people come over here like they own this here part of the world. They done told their ass with me now. That tickled me. Me and everybody else. But we was in what they call pyramidal tent. And there was about 4 or 6 guys to the tent. It was a big tent, about, well, it might have been 12, 14 foot square, kind of a square tent with an opening at one end of it. And there was a bomb fell, I'd say within 30 feet of our tent where we were, but luckily the bomb was designed to go down in this communications building and then explode, see? And all it did was just went down in the ground and exploded, which it didn't hurt nothing. If it had it detonated whenever it hit the ground, it would have blew up and killed us all, I guess. But nobody had to tell us to dig a foxhole after that. We dug a foxhole without nobody ever seeing anything. And they tried, well, we were there for maybe 2 weeks, and they tried for about a week to get us to dig a foxhole. Yeah. But after they bombed us, no problem. No problem. We dug a foxhole.
I bet some of the officers laughed about that.
Well, I imagine they did. The officers, I don't know where the officers was during the bombing. Of course, they usually had a place, you know, that they usually always had the best of places, you know. They probably had a house or a building or something where they get in. On the ship, when it's going over, no, it's coming back. We went over on the Queen Elizabeth, which was a big, nice ship, you know. And I forget now how many it was on there. It was a bunch, kept wiggling around in the water. And I said, why they keep dodging like that? They said, well, it takes a submarine so long to get the sights on it. And by the time we get the sights on it, it's done zigzagged away, see. And then when we come back on the Jonathan Edwards, was a Liberty ship. And it was in August or September, and there was evidently a hurricane or something. And the thing was, I mean, really rolling and pitching. And I never forget. We had our muskets in our hand and could kind of handle them, see. But the officers, they had the table all set up. And there's one big wave come along. And there's officers and muskets and ketchup, everything else, all against what they call a bulkhead, you know, against the wall. Mm-hmm. They just throwed them all against the wall. We laughed about that. That was the officers' mess.
You sailed over on the Queen Elizabeth.
Queen Elizabeth.
You were not in a convoy.
No, it was just by itself. I think it's every 7 minutes it would change courses, see. And I said, well, it looked to me like you'd get there quicker if you go straight, but they said, no, it takes a submarine, I forget now how many minutes it was to get the sight on it. And by that time, they done turned and went another way direction.
Yeah, well, you would have gotten there quicker going in a straight line if you had made it at all.
But there wasn't no convoy, nobody went over there with us. We come back on the Jonathan Edwards, which was a Liberty ship. It was, I would say, a tenth the size of the Queen Elizabeth, you know. Queen Elizabeth, you didn't hardly, you might feel this sensation sometime, you know, rising and falling, but you didn't know you was on a ship, hardly. The Queen Elizabeth, that was a nice ship.
How about those sailors on those little bitty destroyers? I know you saw some of those
Yeah, we saw
in the
some.
invasion.
I never went on one. I don't know what kind of outfit that was, but the chow on the Queen Elizabeth was all right. It was English, you know. It was run by the English. Well, it was owned by the English, I guess. They had like orange marmalade and that sort of thing for something sweet, you know. It was just English food, but it was good. But the Jonathan Edwards was American food, but it was, I guess I would have got sick if I hadn't laughed so much at the officers all banked over against the bucket with ketchup all over. I would have got seasick, you know, because that thing, I mean, is rocking and pitching. Asked him, I said, is this boat, is this seaworthy? I mean, you know, he always says this boat will stand more than you can stand. I believe it now. I went to the service in 42, I believe. Spent 11 months out in Camp in Marfa, Texas. I forget the name of the camp. In Marfa, Texas, anyway. Spent 11 months out there. It rained one time, about a quarter of an inch the whole time I was there. And it was sand spurs, not like our sand spurs here. They're little triangular shaped sand spurs. And them things would stick, you try to sit down on the ground, and they get all over you. Then we spent, we went on maneuvers in Louisiana, somewhere in Louisiana, I don't remember where. And then we went to Camp Pickett, Virginia, which was a kind of a staging area for the Army.
How you doing? Well, I've got 5.
You got 5, huh?
I'll give you $25. Give you 5 on my own bill.
5, what was the balance on those bills?
I think the first was about 15.
Did you call it?
Yeah.
Don't scratch. Just take a little. Ow! Welcome to the Geneva Arena. And here we are with our 3 contestants. They are going to do some flips. There's John.
Insignia
Oh, yeah.
and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And he's got a couple of books about it.
I had a 3rd Army insignia.
Uh,
The A,
Yeah, we spotted that.
around A.
Which button is the index one, David?
Just leave it alone, it'll go off. And anyway, and I looked in a couple of books and got
I got some medals in
history.
there. I don't even know what they was for. One was a presidential citation. And As far as I know, the president gave our unit, the 81st Chemical Mortar Battalion, a presidential citation for outstanding service or something, I don't know. Anyway, that was quite a medal back then, but of course now then, I don't guess it matters too much. 5 battle stars, and I don't remember what else I got.
Yeah, I'm not spotting that. Maybe that was in the other thing. Any out of Hitler's house?
Hitler's house.
Let me see. Show it to me.
I was they took us
Let me
a trip to Hitler's house. I wanted a souvenir of Hitler's house. I couldn't find nothing around there.
There, that's good.
So I
good
just
focus.
took off the spigot handle off one of the sinks. Come off Hitler's house.
At
Up on that high place, I forget now.
Berchtesgaden.
Maybe.
You know, I bet you could make a mint.
I probably could. I've seen the advertisement in a lot of magazines and wanting them swastikas insignia.
Yeah.
And that sort of
Yeah. I mean, all this stuff that you picked up as souvenirs, people would pay
thing.
for.
I'm sure they would.
But what? I wanted you to look at some of these pictures
What do you want?
and just, you know.
This is the Arc of Triomphe in Paris. Arc de Triomphe, in other words. So they claim that all the armies that had a victory would march through the Arc of Triomphe. See, that was Arc of Triomphe.
There was a set of pictures that were kind of like a victory celebration of the liberation of Paris or something.
Oh, but when we was liberating Paris, or liberating France, it would come to this little village, and they would throw flowers and give us champagne and cognac and everything else. And then when we'd get out of the town, and the officers say, okay, take off the, what do you call it? In other words, take off all the flowers and stuff off our Jeep. And we'd have to throw them on the ground, and then the next village would come to, they'd do the same thing. Next time he'd get out in the open field, he'd do the same thing. Oh, had time. But they were really proud to see us back then, you know.
Well, yeah, I would imagine so. Did your unit go through Paris?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, I'm sorry. It took us to a trip to Paris later.
Yeah, 'cause there was a picture of you.
Standing
here
at the
it is.
Eiffel Tower.
Here it is.
Standing at the
Picture of you
Eiffel Tower.
standing at the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah, mm-hmm. That's the Eiffel Tower. Yeah. This is me and my Jeep. This is me, ain't it?
Yeah.
He doesn't have his glasses on, David. He's going on.
Where are they?
Okay, break time.
They're in there.
Break time.
Okay, McCord, he was the second in command of the squad.
Daddy, tell me about the man that got his leg?
Leg cut off. Okay, we was going down one night. It was, of course, we had our cat eyes on it. It's just a little sliver of light, about that wide and about that thick. See, had our cat eyes on, and I told, I like to call his name then,
That's all right.
Menard. I said, don't hang your legs over the side of the Jeep. He said, they're my legs, I can do whatever I damn please with them. I said, okay. So this night, he was in the middle of the road also, and he swerved to the right, and it just struck me right along the driver's seat, and took Menard and his legs with him. That back then, he was laying on the ground back there, on the pavement, or road, or whatever. So we went back there, and his legs was all twisted up, you know, we knew that he'd mangled them up, so we've got our carbines and splintered them. They said we'd done a good job. I heard later that the amputated leg.
Oh. But you told him.
Yeah, I told him 2 or 3 times.
So you drove most of the time then?
Yeah, that was my job, driving the Jeep. And this Jeep here, I don't know whether this is the first, second, or third one, but one time I parked it. It started shelling, the Germans started shelling. I parked it on the side of the street, and I went down the cellar. So they started shelling, and the shell hit the front of the trailer, and well, it's got a piece of steel on it about that big around, about this long, to connect the trailer to the Jeep, and it hit right in front of the trailer, blew the trailer away from the Jeep, and I had a 5-gallon gas can on the back of my Jeep, extra gas, and it set that gas can on fire, and I was in the cellar. They said, "Foote, you gonna go put out your Jeep?" And I said, "No." So some of the guys went out there and they got a medal for that. But I wouldn't try to put that fire out on that Jeep. Let it burn. Better it burn than he burned, you know.
Here's the next one.
This is England here, it's a Pramnel tent. What was a Pramnel tent anyway? This is how we lived in England. Had a Pramnel tent and had,
Break time. I did something on the
you know, this is a Pramnel tent. In England, that's how we lived in England. Pramnel tent held about 6 guys in their little cot, a little folding cot up. And this is one time, I guess we aired, looks like we aired things out there.
Yeah, this is pretty similar. I think it shows you and some of your buddies in the...
In the Pramnel tent, yeah. That's Robert E. Kirby, the guy that come down here, and Alphonse Merrick is on the left. He was our squad leader, and then something happened to Alphonse, I forget what it was, and Kirby took over the squad. The squad consists of 8 men, I think it was. 4 men on the motor and 4 men on the ammunition. And so this Alphonse Merrick was our squad leader. That was also taken in England. Jolly old England. This looks like as we come out off the boat. Now, I don't know exactly. As we come off the boat, we rode on the Queen Elizabeth, going over, and she'd turn, twist, and I said, "Why are you twisting and turning?" Well, it takes the submarine so many minutes to set up there, all that stuff, and by that time they done twisted and turned again, see. And this looks like Merrick, but I'm not sure. I know that's me. It looked like that's just as we got off the boat coming into England.
Yeah, this may be... I couldn't tell which way you were going in some of these pictures that involve ships.
Well, I can't tell now either, but this looked like a shipyard there where we landed again. It looked like a shipyard. We landed.
Here's...
Spin, Kirby, and Finner, I think it's Finner. I don't remember. 81st Killing Mortar Battalion. This must have been in the States somewhere because I don't ever remember seeing an insignia like that after we left the States.
Oh.
So this is just before we left the States.
Then this probably is too.
Yeah. Might have been at Camp Pickett, Virginia. We stayed up there for several years. The 3rd Army insignia up here on the left-hand side of it. We had to be attached Camp Wings, you see. I don't remember, no, Camp Wings, but that was probably either in, well, the maneuvers in Louisiana, by the way.
You did?
Yeah. We kind of left Marfa, Texas, and went to Louisiana on maneuvers. And we went from Louisiana maneuvers up to Camp Pickett, Virginia, and then we left Camp Pickett, Virginia, and went out Miles Standish in Boston, Massachusetts, and left there. That's me. And looked like Finner. Can't tell who else. Merrick looked like.
I don't know if this is going to jar anything or not.
Well, this is just a picture. Now, some of these pictures I got from, I have scanned them, confiscated or whatever you want to call it. And this is one of the pictures that was in the bunch of pictures that I am scanned with.
This one maybe too, because I couldn't come up with an explanation.
Well, this would look like German soldiers.
that's what.
Yeah, that was in the camera. And a bunch of pictures that I scanned. You got me here.
It says welcome home.
Well, that welcome home was at, when we come back on the Jonathan Edwards was a Liberty ship, and we got in a big storm out there. It was in September.
Mm-hmm.
Got in a big storm, and when we come home then, they had a big banner for welcome home, well done, heroes. All I said, we got a real welcome. I forget now the name of the place where we come in at, New York Harbor, I thought, where we passed by the.
Does it say on your little?
Yes. This one probably is coming home.
Yeah.
Because of all the banners.
Uh-huh. Yeah. No. I would say so.
I wouldn't have thought there would be that many banners on the way out.
No. Oh, we didn't have much fanfare going out, but we had a lot of fanfare coming back home. Oh.
There you are.
Well, my dad had a couple of books, and I looked up the 81st Chemical Mortar Battalion. It said they were organized 25 April of 42
Yeah.
at Fort Russell near Marfa, Texas, which you just mentioned.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So they embarked at New York on 21st October of 43 and arrived in England on 2 November. Now that's probably, whether the whole unit traveled together, I don't know.
I think so, yeah. I think everybody was on that big ship on the Queen Elizabeth.
And this book marked entrance into different countries and said entered France 6 June of 44.
Yeah. Goodness sake. D-Day.
And well, I guess this would be your 5 battle stars that you mentioned. The Normandy campaign,
Yeah.
Northern France, the Rhineland,
Yeah.
and then kind of in the middle of that, what's officially called the Ardennes-Alsace campaign,
Yeah.
popularly called Battle of the Bulge, and then Central Europe. Said August 1945 location was Braunau, Germany.
I know we went through France, through Belgium, through Luxembourg, and then we finally entered Germany, and then we met with the Russians somewhere there. And the Russians had come up from another direction. And when we met, everybody had a campfire and all that stuff. I said to myself, that war must be over with. All these people having these big bonfires and all that stuff. So the next day then we discovered the war was over with. That's something. Didn't even know when the war was over.
Well, the guy in the middle of it's the last one to find out.
Yeah, that's right.
Returned to New York on September 2nd of 45.
Okay, when we was in this after we got out of the place where we met the Russians, we was pulled back and put in what they call a staging area. And we then had our ship assigned to us, and we was to come home on a 30, 60, 90-day furlough, and then go back to the Japanese, to the, what do they call that? Japanese, Asian, no, it wasn't Asian theater operation. It was some.
Pacific Theater.
Pacific theater of operation.
You were going to be in the invasion of
Yeah,
Japan.
we were going to be in an invasion of Japan. We hadn't had enough invading France and Germany at that time. I'll never will forget, I was on the conning tower. Now the conning tower on a boat is up high, see, and I was looking out there and it looked like it was raining out there. And pretty soon they started pecking on the side of the boat and I said, uh-oh, this is not raining. So I went
Kind of
down
rain you don't
below.
like.
Rain I don't like, yeah. So I went down below and my buddies followed me. They said, why you come down here, Foote? I said, well, there's a machine gun that's shooting at us from the shore. But what we had on the boat was 4 LCT. We was on a boat, the landing craft tank. Had 4 tanks in the middle of it, and our Jeeps was on each side of that seat. And we were supposed to let these tanks out, and they had a big skirt on them. They had hydraulic skirts or whatever. The English Channel is so rough that you can imagine how buoyant a tank is. You know, if a big wave come over in there, the guys just sink right there. So the commander of our boat, he wouldn't let them tanks out way out there. He brought them right on the shore. It's just like coming up to Daytona or somewhere like that, you know. But except there's barbed wire on that. And let them tanks out on the shore. Because he says, he got a command to let them out there in the English Channel. He says, no, he says, I'm not letting them out there. So his commander says, you mean you're disobeying an order? He said, yes, I am. He said, it's just like suicide, let them guys out there. So he brought them right up on the shore. And then we went back out and circled around for a while, about 1 o'clock, and then we come in. And when we come in, there was all kind of equipment, men and equipment and everything else. They just had to take a bulldozer and bulldoze a little road to let us through there. It was awful. Break time.
Remember which army was which? My
Show
dad
me,
would know
show
it.
me the third army. There you
My
go.
dad would know it in an instant.
Yeah.
In fact, he's got a collection of these.
Yes.
And of course, you know, I kid him, he successfully defended Texas against every attack launched on it.
He was in Texas.
Yeah, he stateside duty.
It took them too.
Yeah.
That's right, Daddy.
Yeah, I wouldn't complain if I were him. The casualty rate was a good bit lower.
When we was in, well, we went to some of these reunions, and when some of the guys went overseas, went over to England, went to France, and there was nothing in France saying that we had ever been there. So we pooled our money together and got up a statue and got a place to put it at a churchyard going up the hill from the Normandy beachhead anyway. And they placed this statue up there and said the 81st Chemical Mortar Battalion was here. So we accomplished something after we got back even though they went over there and found out there was nothing there. So we pooled our money and got a statue of some kind, I forget now. A picture of it is here somewhere. I remember what, yeah, I think it was just not a statue, but what they call the information thing.
Mm-hmm.
Just the information thing saying the 81st Chemical Mortar Battalion had been there.
Mm-hmm.
So there's something, perpetual memory over there of our unit was there, and we did fight in the Normandy. Well, even in the book you said that your dad had told about the 81st Chemical Mortar.
Yeah, in fact, this other book has a considerable European theater.
Yeah,
ribbon.
European theater operation. That's the 5 battle stars.
Did you ever get the medal that goes?
It's on here, we got a little ribbon. Had the 5 battle stars on that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I don't know if you're gonna know. Remember what that one is?
No, I don't. David, I really don't. I know the blue one is the presidential citation.
Okay, that's
Big
this
blue
one.
one. Yeah, that's it. And the rest of them things, I think, is stuff that I
Absconded.
have scanned from the Germans and French and or something too.
Yeah, one of them, I think I know what this one is. The Germans gave a medal to a woman for having, I think you had to have a certain, if you had a certain number of children.
Oh.
I think it was called the
Come here.
Mutterkreuz, the Mother Cross.
Put it down a little bit.
I think that's what this one is.
Yeah. I have no idea. I just got them. I just knew this medal. That's all I knew.
I can appreciate that. Keeping up with the other side's awards is not high priority.
No.
Well, really, that's all. My dad did. So this book has a good paragraph on your unit, and he just thought you might want to look at it.
All right.
You want to read it to him? It's a bit
Yeah.
easier? Why don't
Yeah,
you
it
be
might be.
easier?
Okay.
Yeah, you got a good voice.
The 81st Chemical Mortar Battalion was activated on April 25th, 1942 at Fort D.A. Russell, Texas, and was the first mortar battalion to be sent to the European theater, arriving in England late in 43. After additional training, the 81st landed in Normandy on Omaha Beach on D-Day, June 6, 1944. After suffering losses in the transports and on the beaches, including the battalion commander, who was seriously wounded, the 81st moved slowly forward to fire close support missions for the 1st Infantry Division.
1st Infantry Division. I was in the 3rd Army, I gather.
Mm-hmm.
We had to keep. You had to keep. What I say? And keep getting attached, because if we didn't, we didn't get no food. We get no gas, don't get no nothing. So we had to keep attached.
Mm-hmm.
Keep getting attached.
Yeah, not intended to operate independently.
That's right.
After supporting the drive through the hedgerow country, the battalion was assigned to the 1st Army and crossed northern France, Belgium, and Luxembourg, and was fighting against German prepared positions near Aachen along the Siegfried Line in September. Following assignment to the 3rd Army in late September, the battalion moved to support infantry units attacking Fort Driant and the heights above Metz. Firing great quantities of smoke and phosphorus shells to screen the attacking infantry units, the 81st fought its way through the heavily fortified enemy defenses, and Metz fell on October 30th. One of the villages near Metz, which I can't pronounce, it's in French, fell on October 30th, and Metz, the city, was captured November 19th. After house-to-house fighting, with the battalion firing over 51,100 rounds of ammunition in support of the attack on Metz and its defenses. I wonder who keeps up with all that.
This shell, this 4.2 shell is about this long and 4.2 inches across it, see. And you put this thing down and it had a firing pin in there just like this. At the end of the shell it had like a shotgun shell. It had propellants, little rounds of little squares of, I guess they're made out of plastic something. And anyway, how many rounds thing, how many far you want it to go, that's how many of them little things you put on it. Anyway, you fire the whole shell and the whole shell come out. And one of the guys, one of the squad's mortar blew up, and just somebody said the other day, well, the shell had when it hit, it would explode, see. Somebody said, well, maybe they put it in the wrong way. I hadn't thought of it that way before. And maybe they did. They might have put it in the nose first, see. It just exploded down there instead of exploding where it's supposed to be. I don't know what happened. All we know is that it did explode, and one of the things we did, which we shouldn't have done, was to fire a shell, and there was a little Piper Cub up there, and we made a direct hit on the Piper Cub, on our Piper Cub, which was a mistake, error, of course. But there wasn't no way we could see, the way clear.
And that's also not something you could do with a mortar if you were trying.
You couldn't do it if you tried to. No, I'm sorry to interrupt.
Well, that's okay.
That's okay.
Fine.
No, we want you to do that.
Elements of the battalion next supported the drive to relieve Bastogne, that's the Battle of the Bulge, and fired missions in support of the Ardennes campaign before racing across Europe in the final thrust that brought about German surrender. The battalion returned to the United States and was inactivated at Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri on November 7th, 1945, after participating in 5 campaigns. The arc, that's the shoulder insignia, worn by the 81st Battalion was approved for local wear only and was made in the Chemical Warfare Service colors of gold and blue.
I don't remember ever wearing one of them. We did have an incident. It had a picture of a flask or something.
Like that, Daddy?
That
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
type.
What are these things here? What are them little things called?
Here,
I'm not.
I want you to put on this
They
little
use it in chemistry.
thing right there, and let me get a close-up of it, okay?
Okay, it's going to be a little hard to get.
Okay.
Break time again.
Yeah, flasks of some kind. I'm not sure what that means.
I thought it
Other than this, I don't know what they